All right. We're going to go over current market conditions today as we have in the past. We talked about this before. Sorry, I'm just going to kind of dial this down a little bit. Not really kind of mess with my vibe. All right, so BTC today, right? Again, I just want to let everybody know I was kind of out of time for a little bit, so my videos did kind of slow down for a couple days, but I'll keep those up and keep them rolling. Right now, current market conditions of BTC, as we can see right here, we got a high low, high low, high low, and currently high low. Can this high low possibly come up? Yes, I think we're going to start getting resistance probably around 33.8. I think is like our top push if we can get up there. That's what we're looking for BTC currently. Likely, not likely. Right now, we're struggling around 33,000. I'm not really seeing a really heavy push around here, but every time we start to break into this 32-ish zone, 32K zone, and we start to break down, the bulls are not liking that, right? They're kind of pushing that back up and trying to hold this position. Ultimately, I mean, it'll hold for a while. I can't see this holding for too long. There is always that potential for us to try and recover this drop, right? So all that will entail is us to kind of do what we've done in the past, where we fell down, we pull up, we don't quite reach our top as they do every time, and they bring us right back down. We pull up, try and recover some of this area as far as market market interests, right? So we're trying to recover some of this market interest. They're obviously not going to let you escape if you bought the top, and then they're going to drop it again. So drop, pull down. This could easily come back up. They can try and get in here and hold this market interest area right here, and then try and drop it again from here. So we could very easily see a 34K, 33.8 BTC before we see more downside. I think that's definitely a possibility. I think ultimately, though, all this is nil. We all know where this is going. This is clear manipulation of the market, and as a whole, it's very obvious at this point that the bulls are trying to hold this up. They're desperately trying to hold this up. Dragging it out does really not a whole lot other than just dragging it out. It's just, I mean, the bottom will come up a little bit higher, but as far as where I'm seeing this going, I can't really see them holding this up for too long, and this bottom kind of holding its position. We break 32K, it's going to be really bad. We should see a pretty decent fall from 32K. I've basically got it ran around, reverse this right here from its current position. I've got us right around 31.6, and then another fall to 30K, and 31 will be the next one after that, and we'll just keep breaking down from there. This is kind of an interest zone right here, buy interest. And they'll kind of step in at this position, I think, to kind of stop this from happening. What I'm looking for, these are kind of key positions we can see right now. BTC is kind of getting shoved down by the bears. They're not having it right now. Is I'm seeing this zone right here kind of being filled out by the bulls. The bulls are desperately trying to hold it above this position. They break below 32K, it's going to be really hard to get back up there, right? Each time we break down, we get more and more resistances between us and the top. This is why when people are like, oh, 100K BTC, 200K BTC, 3, yeah, it's possible, but in this bull cycle, the likeliness of us breaking all these resistances that we just broke down from is just not a realistic situation. And people need to come to copes with that, and save yourself some money at the end of the day. You don't necessarily have to day trade, but I think swing trading out and jumping back in near the bottom is probably a really good resolution, right? And if you're going to be scared you're going to miss the bottom, right, then don't shoot for the ultimate bottom. Cut halfway between here and the bottom. I think 28K is a perfectly reasonable starting point to DCA in. All the way down to 24 and possibly even 20K. We may need to test that, right? The possibility of us hitting 20K, it is there ultimately. There's definitely no doubt about that. I think in my mind, and I think in a lot of other analysts' mind, there's no doubt we can reach this position. But for right now, a realistic price point in the current time being is that 28 to 26 to 24K range. I think it's very realistic in the midterm to short term. We're seeing BTC day by day breaking down. This is something I wanted to kind of point out here. You know, when in doubt, zoom out. We've got our high here, high low here, high low here, high low here, and now we're fixing to basically have another high low here. Potentially they'll push us up, like I said, but I don't think they'll crack the top here. And you know, this will end up ultimately just kind of dialing back down to a lower position. We can see right here we got a low high, right? This is where everybody was getting hyped and thinking that BTC was going to go somewhere. But you can see right here our daily candles were closing, you know, if not equal to our current red candle here, below our red candle, right? This is not a bullish push. This is a complete fake out on the daily. People should be able to read into this very easily. This is basically telling us what we're going to trend up and then we're going to pull down. And then BTC can very easily come up and try and recover some of that money, right, and do another fake out and then pull back down even further, right? That's basically what I'm looking for currently, is that pull down further. On a bigger time frame, and I'll cover this, you can see this a lot more clearly than what people were actually anticipating and kind of going through. Let's duplicate this right here. I want to kind of throw this up on weekly here, and we'll kind of look at that. But I mean, this is something we'll look at, dive into in a minute. If you look at this on the hourly here, so we're looking at the hourly, oh no, daily, sorry, in this position, right? This is the overall market. I took this position from here to our current bottom to our recent high, right? And if you look here at our Fibonacci, like it just fills out so perfectly. Like we hit our top right here, obviously a little bit higher than our top, 65K, no big deal. We run our tops here. We run, oh, sorry about that. We run our resistances here, right? And we're finding the supports right where the supports are on the daily, right? This Fibonacci is right on point with where it needs to be to kind of figure out these bottoms and tops. So basically, if we take the same Fibonacci that fills out this top so well from this position that we're currently in, and I take this Fib and I turn this around and I flip it, right? And I turn it into a reversal right here. We can kind of see our drops, right? So if we look at our drops, we filled in, we got resisted here at the top, right? We then came down and tried to pull through this zone, ended up finding a little bit of support here, and ended up falling back through, right? And this zone right here, the 0.236 has become pretty heavy resistance. We have not been able to hold this 0.382 zone, right? It just has not been holding. We moved down to the 0.5 right here. 0.5 is a vital position. It either becomes a hard resistance or a hard support, right? Anybody who does analysis knows this. We see right here we held the 0.5, we fell through the 0.5, we caught support on the 0.618, and then we try to push back up through and try to use this 0.5, but 0.5 just keeps falling through. And now this 0.5 has become a hard resistance for our current market right over here. So we're looking to continue to break down from what I'm seeing. We're obviously finding support here. This right here, this one, it's kind of like our 50% from the top, right? So if you look here, we've broken below this multiple times. They desperately are trying to hold this position, 32,391. They do not want it to fall below 32,391. This is 50% from the top. We start closing below this, it's going to get very bearish really quick. And this is what I'm seeing, right? This breakdown is showing that they are going to push this thing down. It's going to happen. If we look at our trend, right? So we've got our high here. We've got our high low, high low, high high, high low, high high, high low, high low, high low, and now we're just trending down. Like this is not showing signs of, oh, we're gonna flip back up and turn around and go to 100K. I saw so many videos today, like people talking about, oh yeah, this is definitely gonna happen. Yeah, Bitcoin will hit 100K one day, right? And then they'll be like, oh yeah, I told you 100K, but you know, a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 months from now, 5, 6 months from now, yeah, it may hit 100K, possibly, right? At the end of the day. But ultimately, you're telling people to hold, you're telling them to buy these dips when there's a much bigger dip incoming. From what these YouTubers are basically trying to tell people that, oh yeah, this is it. Buyer interest is settled in. And I'll show you proof that that's not really the case. So if we look here, we've got a high high, high low, high low, high low, high, oh no, sorry. We've got a low high, low low, low low, low low, low low, low low, and you know, ultimately we got a low high here and a low high here, but I can see this definitely trending down further, right? and us closing here now. I don't think we hold this position of where we're at. I think we kind of do a swoop and kind of slowly start to wheedle down this way and find support here, right? This is where I think we close in the upcoming days or weeks or maybe even a month. We'll see. But we start closing here. So if we were closing here, right, and we were closing at 31,000 and we breached 28K, right? We breached 28K with a $31,000 close, 31.6. What do you think a 30K close is going to bring if we're at a 30K close? We're going to easily reach our targets, 26, 27, possibly even 24 as far as a wick, right? We can wick into these zones very easily from this position on a close on this position. At that point, we've broken resistance of the 50% from the top, and now we're below the 50% for the top. This can very easily just continue to degrade and break down from here, right, until we hit bottom. And then from there, we start to recover as a market and start to trend up with the floor. This is something people should really take into consideration, as it's very possible. You can see here, this fib fills out nicely for all of our positions and holding all of our positions, right? And you can see the clear manipulation of the market with them pushing these up, because this should have fell through. There's no real support here, none whatsoever. This should have fell through and closed here, but they've been manipulating this market to keep it up. And then once they get it up above the support, now they can push it up a little more, right? But ultimately, this 0.618 is now hard resist. So good luck to them trying to push through that. And now that we've kind of broken down below this 0.786 again, I believe this 0.786 is now our hard resist, right? This 34K. I think we can break up to it, but I don't think we'll break through it at the end of the day. As far as a close goes, I'm not talking about wicks. We can always wick through anything, right? As far as the close goes, I don't see us breaking 34K again. We're going to keep pushing down, I think. And like I said, I think we close on the 30 and we wick into these zones previously discussed in previous videos and bottom somewhere in here. And this degrading, you know, we get a bounce on 30, maybe come to like 32. And the degrading just keeps going as we're kind of falling down, right? Eventually, the bottom's just going to fall out and we're just going to hit the floor. That's just what's going to happen. That's what we need to keep an eye out for. We can see this in Bitcoin dominance. The fluctuation's insane. The reason that Bitcoin's going to dump ultimately is because people are going to take their money from their BTC. They're going to put it into alts, and they're going to then use those alts, you know, buy those alts at rock bottom pricing, right? And at the same time, you're going to see a rotation of alts into BTC. But the thing is the drop will come from the rotation of BTC to alts, and then the alt drop will end up kind of rotating back into BTC. It's kind of a confusing thing that happens there, but this is something that happens almost every single time, right? And that's what we're seeing. Let me look at OXT, right? OXT is getting rotated into pretty heavily. OXT was at 25%, 35% for the day. It was up huge, and now it's starting to kind of pull back a little bit. Luna, all these other alts, they're kind of getting rotated in. Keep in mind, this does not mean altcoin season. This is just a rotation back and forth. People are trying to find that healthy position for BTC and the market and everything else. And I don't feel that people are comfortable with the market. And I'll show you kind of some things that kind of point to the same theories that I'm coming up with. Outside of that, we look, you know, at the overall daily, like we discussed. This is the daily right here, and these markets I'm kind of seeing this, right? So this is the weekly. Sorry. So on our weekly, what are we seeing? Well, we had this big drop. We had somewhat of a recovery. We had a push, a resistance, right? And then what happened? Breakdown, right? Lower high, lower low. Lower high, same low. Same high, lower low, right? And I think this degrading and breakdown continues to break down until we break this 30K roughly right into here, right? This is where I think we kind of land at the end of all this. And this could take a couple months to play out, could take a month, could take a couple weeks. but this is where we're looking to ultimately end up at. The bulls keep stepping in, trying to manipulate people into hyping them into buying and stepping into a bad position. They've been testing 33 all day after they broke through it, and 33 just keeps holding them under. Um, it's a very hard resistance for them. They may ultimately break through, like I said, but as far as breaking above 34K, I can't see that happening. It's gonna be a definite hard one for me to kind of think that that's gonna happen at this position. 33.80 is kind of where I think that top is for BTC. I don't think they'll let you recover back to where you were previously. So overall market, we can see right here on the weekly, what are we seeing with the RSI, right? Well, if we look at the RSI right here, and we look at the MFI, right, we're basically running the top right here, right? On the weekly, we could still cool down a lot, right? We're just above the 50, right? Remember I talked about we break below that 30, what was it? I said 32K, 30K, somewhere's in there. We're below the 50%. At that point, this weekly will break below the 50. And this weekly breaks below the 50, you're going to see this thing start to tumble really fast. Money flow also decreasing on the weekly, as you can see right here, week by week by week by week. We're just continually on a down stepping position for money flow index. That's something else that I've been kind of looking at overall, and I think that indicator versus the RSI has been a very good optimal use to be able to kind of figure out the current market sentiment, because the RSI at times has been a little bit tricky, right? And we can see right here what happens. We way extend out on the RSI, but what happened to our MFI, right? Our MFI just touches the top. As it touches the top, what happens? We start to see that downtrend, right? Money inflow starts to decrease, and it's going to continue to decrease. Same with the RSI. RSI reaches way out, hits the top right where the MFI hits, right? See, look at that. Right where the MFI hits, they hit the same position, they fall together. Ultimately, another indicator is the BTC dominance. BTC dominance is still falling back, then jumping up, then falling back, then jumping up. This is kind of showing me that, the interest is there, but it's not really there. People are mainly, you're like, okay, well, BTC dominance is low. That means alts will pop off. Yeah, what are alts? Alts are what? They're altcoins, right? What can be an altcoin? A stable coin, right? A stable coin can be an altcoin. To me, this is basically just showing that people are on standby and waiting for that dip. They are not going to re-enter the market on some kind of hopium, on some kind of scenario where they're going to risk losing their position and potentially, not catching the bottom. Everybody's looking for that bottom. Right here, we can look at the glass nodes for the LTH Nupal. Right here, I got it on the EMA 7-day moving average. You can put it on whatever. I typically use the 7-day moving average. There's lots of ways to look at this. I can do a 30-day, 50-day, 90-day. But on the 7-day, we're still in a decline on the Nupal and kind of moving down, right? We're bouncing off the 7 right here, the 0.7 currently. But the minute we break that 0.7, which I think is that 50%, is that 30 to 32K close. Once we break into that, I think we push all the way down to the 0.65, which is going to be a huge drop for BTC, and we end up kind of breaking down from there. And this has all been, it's all been coming together. Hash rate price are starting to meet. I think when they start to meet, we'll kind of find that position. I think that meeting will kind of happen right around those price ranges I'm talking about. Right here, if we look at 7-day moving average, again, this is moving average. If we're not using the 7-day moving average, miners are actually holding right now. But if we're looking at moving averages, right, EMAs, basically, we're looking at the decline of miner selling, right, for the EMA, 7-day EMA. We're looking at decline of miner selling. And the basic exponential moving average is the EMA. You can always look that up to see what that means. Right here, we look at fear and greed. You see the market is still in extreme fear. Extreme fear does not mean buy, right? Everybody's kind of like, shit, I don't know what's going on. Let me try and figure this out. And they're kind of sitting on the sidelines, and they're waiting to see what happens. We can come over here Again, I've used Cryptometer in the past, showed you guys. We see right here, what are we looking like? We're bullish, but selling pressure is heavy, right? This is clear indication of manipulation. This is why the bulls are stepping in and they're trying to hold this up. That's all that is going on here. This indicator is great for seeing that manipulation. Selling pressure is extremely high, but the market is looking bullish. That makes no sense at all. This means that they're pumping money into BTC, into the market, to try and keep it from falling. All right, so over here, we come over to market, look at price and volume, 7-day moving average, and we look at BTC trading volume. Look at trading volume. So 7.7, look at that spike on 7.7, right? Just huge spike. Bitfinex, Coinbase, all these huge spike. What is that? Today's the 8th, right? Does that spike look like it's kind of picking up or wheeling down? This is manipulation. This is current market sentiment right here. Market sentiment is not showing that it wants to come back up. These are just whales stepping in trying to pump the price. Over here, basically best friend, right? Trend is our friend. What is the trend on Google Trends? Well, I can tell you it's not crypto. We can see right here, crypto currently was at its peak right around May 9th and has been slowly kind of degrading since then. This right here, as odd as it sounds, should have been a clear indicator that the market is not looking like it wants to recover, right? So people are kind of looking at crypto, they're like excited about it, and now people are not even interested in looking at it. What else does this screen to me? This screens to me that what? Well, investors, right? So retail investors, are they interested in the market? This says no. This clearly says no. There's no spikes. We're flatlining, basically at the same position we were in February, and almost the same position we were in January, as far as the beginning and near the end, right? Ultimately, I think we break down more. We end up kind of falling back right here. We end up falling down to where we were in January on this dip. We come over here to Xerion. So something I wanted to point out. This is a whale right here, right? This is a whale. This right here is a whale, right? What do we see they're invested in? What's this whale invested in? Is he invested in Bitcoin? Is he invested in Ethereum? He's invested in some shitcoin called Mini Doge, right? And I'm not at all trying to give any type of, I guess, information to Mini Doge specifically. I'm just showing you examples. Anybody who's basically pumping money right now, they're pumping in shitcoins. They're not. Look, this guy here's a Shiba Inu millionaire, right? He obviously sold off his Mini Doge and so on and so forth. And this is what I'm telling you guys. Like, people that are invested right now, they're not invested in normal coins. This is why trying to invest in BTC and Ethereum and these other coins right now, especially on a dip and thinking the market's turning around, the money's not going there. You keep in mind also these same shitcoins are also they're also altcoins at the end of the day, right? So if they're altcoins, what does that mean? That means that clearly we're looking at a lot of these as far as activity. The activity is coming from these coins. Granted, these coins will help coins like Ethereum and BNB, because they're pegged to them. They won't necessarily help them in the long run as far as the sell-off and so on and so forth. It'll just kind of slow down the process. Another thing that I've been looking at here is the coinnest.com. It's a new thing I just found today. I think it's pretty good at what it does right here. Crypto market sentiment on July 9th. Market in extreme fear, right? So the market's looking very fearful as far as the current position of the market in general. Like I said, a lot of these guys are trying to pump the price to get people excited and then get them on top and then sell off on them when they reach their peak. Top list of crypto net outflow was 241.22 million, or 241.22 million in the past 10 hours. Ethereum's getting crushed, basically, is what this is saying. So we have to keep in mind that, you know, all indicators right now are showing the market's not doing well. Don't FOMO into green candles thinking that this thing's gonna all of a sudden pump. If you use Fiat Leak and kind of look at this, you can see the only coin that, like I said, that was doing well was OXT, and OXT is kind of cooling down too. You can see all the BTC going to one direction. It's not going all worldwide. Obviously, people are trying to manipulate the price, trying to pump the price, and get it in their favor. That's basically what's happening with Bitcoin. You see right here, one person over here, or many people over here in America, pretty much it looks like to me on Fiat League, are trying to pump the price of BTC. So trading per minute and so on and so forth. It's a good indicator to kind of watch for and see what's going on, because you can see the inflow everywhere else is kind of moderate, right? It's not a lot of inflow. The main inflow is coming from America. Remember, sentiment for coins that they're really good comes worldwide. It doesn't just flow to one direction heavily and then, barely to any others. If you look over here on Lunar Crush, right? Top 50 coins right now being talked about on social listenings for crypto, so on and so forth. Do you see BTC on this? Nowhere do you see BTC. This is clearly another indicator that kind of shows us, hey, market's not really looking at Bitcoin, right? But let's look at Bitcoin. Let's see what the sentiment is around Bitcoin, right? So look at Bitcoin right now as far as bearish sentiment. So 18.3, bullish sentiment 10.7, average sentiment 0.7, shared links 5.9, medium volume 96, spam volume 14.2, volatility 38. You can see right here, YouTube down 32%, news volume down 21%, Reddit volume decreased, Twitter volume decreased. Everything is decreased. Nobody's interested right now. The market is, to think that this is a bull market, this would all be flashing green if there was clear interest in Bitcoin. I'm just trying to give you guys the facts. I know it may not be to what everybody wants to hear. We can see here a negative change in the weekly is 0.46. And this is current cap and current price and so on and so forth. Again, I'm just trying to, give you guys the fishing pole, the line, the hook, everything like that, and kind of showing you how to fish. Over here, if you guys could, I probably should open with this. Stop by my Twitter, subscribe. I usually do listens on here as far as the videos and stuff like that, and they'll be the first ones to hear outside of YouTube and the group that I work with, Alex, by the way. I'm a coach for Alex Lorenzo. I posted his channel on my links. You'll see it down there. Feel free to look at that. Usually these videos go out to that group before they go out to anybody else, and then they go out to my subscribers after the fact, and then also to my Twitter and everything else. I usually post these pretty often. So if you want the latest updates, please stop by my Twitter. Subscribe, and I'll throw that information in there, and you'll have that info, after the group that I'm with basically gets that info. Over here, this is my Instagram. It's on there too. I basically post, different profit margins that I've made from different coins right here. So like this one right here was like 200. This one was like 100. This right here I made this from I think $200 roughly. Yeah, 200 to this. This right here was 200, and these are just different profit margins I made on different shit coins and stuff like that. Kind of putting all that together. Obviously my gas fees, so on and so forth. So all that info's in there. And then this is my channel right here, the Crypto Candle. Feel free to like, subscribe. Really helps out if you guys could at least, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, hit the bell if you could. That would be greatly appreciated. Alex's channel is right here, Alexander Lorenzo. Great guy. I know a lot of people think he's cocky. He's a realist at the end of the day, right? Some people, it's hard for them to understand that, but it's just what it is. You have to be real at the end of the day, otherwise you're going to get wrecked. And he's trying to be as real as possible, as well as the rest of us. I'm a little more chill about it. Again, like I said, 33,000. Looks like they're trying to hold that position. They were trying to push it. It's going to be a hard resist for now. Can they break up higher? Yes, I think that break point breaks here at 38K. Or 33.8, sorry, not 38K, 33.8. I think we kind of find resistance there. Possibly here, even here at 33.7, just below our position here, right? These are potential scenarios that could break out too. So this is just my current read of the market. I've given you lots of information, uh, lots of different tools to kind of view the current market trends, and I've showed you lots of proof to kind of back what I'm saying rather than just analytics and just me talking. So hopefully you're able to take this information, read into it well, and make the right decisions. Currently, I am out of the market. I am looking to find a much lower position. And when I find that lower position, I think 28K and below, I will start DCAing back in pretty heavily, and then I'll be looking for that bottom and trying to announce that bottom when I see it on here. Thank you everybody who stopped by. I really appreciate everybody's time. And again, if you guys could thumbs up, like, subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. Go check out Alex's channel. Again, I think he's a great guy. I think he has a lot of good information to give people, and I wouldn't be here really without him. So again, thank you everybody, and have a good day.